Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're someone who is really just trying to figure out how to use Instagram Reels for your brand to grow online, this video is for you. I'm basically going to give you a roadmap to what are the things that you should be doing and thinking about when you've decided, okay, I want to get started with Reels. I want to finally jump in and do this. What are the things you need to be thinking about to actually make it worth your time and to see an impact in your brand? And before we jump into the actual tips, I do want to let you know that I have a free class on Instagram Reels on how to grow your reach, followers, and customers with Reels. So if you want to watch that free class, you can get access to it at the link right below this video. And now let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing I really want to dive into here when it comes to creating Reels that are actually going to make an impact and help you grow your brand is to have a good strategy when it comes to picking ideas for your Reels. And so if no matter if you have a ton of ideas and you're trying to decide what to do first, or maybe you have no ideas to begin with and you're trying to decide how should you come up with ideas for your Instagram Reels, I really want you to start here when it comes to getting started, because if you don't have good ideas, your Reels are not going to be impactful. So the first thing to think about when it comes to thinking about ideas is to think about what just makes sense for your account, right? Like what actually at the end of the day, if someone sees a Reel, makes sense that you are creating that Reel. And obviously this doesn't mean that every Reel has to be right in line with your niche or what you offer or anything like that, but it does mean that overall your strategy needs to be focused on what makes sense for your account. Basically what I mean by this is Instagram Reels content on Instagram is actually made more for non-followers. While your followers are going to see your Reels, especially if you share them to your feed and push them to your current audience, really when it comes to Reels and when they start getting traction, right, they start going like viral and getting seen from people outside of your own audience, you want to be thinking about if those people see your Reel and have no idea who you are, have never seen your face before, they don't know your name, they don't know what you're all about. If they see that Reel and then go over to your account and it's very similar content, they have a lot more content similar to it that they could, batch. What's the word? Batch. It's not batch. It's binge watch. If they have a bunch of different content that's very similar, they could binge watch, or it just makes sense that they see the Reel, they go to your account, and your content generally just it goes with the Reel, right? You really want to pick ideas that with that just make sense for reaching people outside of your own audience. And so another thing I want to mention here too when it comes to ideas is to jump on trends. And one thing that works really well, if you're brand new to Instagram Reels and you're like, I'm trying to figure out how to get started, the one thing you need to know about Reels and short form video right now, currently in 2022, is that they thrive on trends. And so if you want to see growth with Reels, jumping on trends can be a really impactful way to do that. Does that mean every single Reel has to be a trend? Absolutely not. There's so many different Reels you can make, and there's so many different types of Reels you can do, which I talk about more in that free class and break that down for you more. But they're really there's so many trends you can jump on in a way that's authentic to your brand, that feels genuine to your brand, that goes along with your brand. And this doesn't mean you have to jump on every trend either. You can pick the trends that feel natural to you, natural to your brand, and that are going to help you reach a new audience in a really cool way. And so think about what are the trends you're seeing on Reels. What are, things that different people are essentially putting your own spin on. That's why it works so well, is because it's almost like a trend that everyone gets to take their own stab at and put their own spin on it, whether it's with different text on the screen or a different context or however it applies to your niche, right? Again, making it make sense. So if you're trying to figure out Reels right now in 2022, highly encourage you to at least consider adding trends as a part of your strategy and the Reels that you're creating, because they can be super, super impactful, okay? And then the last thing I want you to think about when it comes to coming up with ideas is to brainstorm your target audience, okay? So I already mentioned the Reels need to just make sense for your account, right? To jump on some trends, but also you need to make sure you're brainstorming who is your target audience, and think about what are the struggles that they have, what are the pain points that they have, what are the misconceptions they might be believing, how can you be relatable to them, right? What would actually be interesting to them, right? And not just these random Reels. To be completely honest, in Reels, because it's being shown to people outside of your audience, those people generally don't care what we had for breakfast that morning, or they don't care, you know, something funny your dog did, unless you have a dog account or something. Definitely post those. And it's not that you can't share like fun reels like that every once in a while, but overall your strategy should be focused on, you know, who are the people you're trying to reach? What are the kinds of things they would find valuable, interesting, entertaining, and what are some reels you can create with that? So now let's move into part 2 of this video, and that is all about creating a system on making your reels. And the reason why I want to bring this up, if you're someone who's trying to get started on reels and trying to figure it out, beyond coming up with good ideas, like once you have those good ideas, how do you actually create them, right? Are you actually going to create reels and get it done? I know for me, it's very, very important that I am batch filming my reels. And when I say batch filming, it's essentially, you know, picking one day of the month where I'm gonna sit down and film maybe 15 to 20 reels at a time. So once I have those ideas saved that I might want to do, I'm sitting down and I can usually knock out and film 15 to 20 reels at a time. That is absolutely insane, right? But there's a good, you know, there's a system you can create for actually filming your reels and, you know, having those reels that you able to post throughout the month. And a lot of times when I'm filming these reels, it's like from trends that I've saved or outlines that I've written out, maybe like a face to camera reel or something. And a lot of times with the trends though, I don't even know like what the context is going to be. I don't really know like what's the text on the screen going to be, or you know, how am I going to apply this to my niche? And a lot of times those ideas will pop into my head later when I get questions from my audience, or I brainstorm more pain points or things like that. But I just want to make sure that if I'm doing my hair and makeup, if I'm getting my you know, getting my tripod set up and getting my office clean to film reels, I want to make sure to take advantage of that and being on camera as much as possible, or even just having things set up, like if you're doing product-based reels or something like that, get as much variety as possible, right? So you don't have to spend time setting it up again later, a week later, just so you have some more reels to post. And it's going to help you to be more consistent. It's going to help you to actually show up with reels and actually post them, right? And, you know, so having that system down, having, you know, that set time that you can film and create your reels is really important. And then you can decide and also work backwards and think about how many reels do you actually want to post in a given week, in a given month. Maybe start out with 1 or 2 a week, right? Take it really, really simple. Take it really slow, and you can slowly amp that up. Or maybe you just give yourself those 2 hours to film every month, see how many you can create, and then you decide from there how many you are realistically able to post or share. And obviously, like, depending on where you're at, if you're full-time in your brand or not, or depending on your goals, right, for Instagram, this is gonna look different for every person. There's no right or wrong here, but decide now, like, if you are wanting to post 3 times a week with reels, how many are you gonna have to create a month? Probably about 14 or 15, right? And so you can work backwards from there and then figure out how long is it going to actually take you to make those reels. Is that realistic for your capacity right now? And you might have to spend more time creating reels, or maybe, you know, once you get better at them, once it takes you not as long to create them, then you can up your posting schedule because you can create them in a shorter amount of time. Because the more you do it, definitely the more comfortable you get with it, the faster you get at it, and the better you get at it too. And I also talk about just this whole process more in depth in that free class, you know, how I'm batch editing, how I'm batch filming, even how I'm batch scheduling my reels. So if you want to see more of a peek into that process, be sure to watch that free class down below. But let's go ahead and move into part 3 of this video, and that is how to make reels actually have an impact on your brand. So there's some things to keep in mind, you know, beyond just coming up with those ideas and actually creating your reels. What are some things you can do to actually have the reels grow your brand, right? Like, we don't want to just be making these reels and get a ton of views. While it can be kind of fun to have a reel, you know, get traction and pick up views, right? That shouldn't be our end goal, because that's ultimately not going to really do anything for us as far as growing engaged followers or new customers, or, you know, whatever your goals are with that. And so the first thing I want to mention here is, again, make sure that your ideas just make sense. And you need to make sure you're doing that work at the beginning with coming up with good ideas. Otherwise, it's not going to grow your brand. If you're just posting random reels because you think they're funny or because you would think they're interesting, it doesn't mean your target audience is going to find them interesting. And so you need to make sure you're creating reels that actually give value, that actually educate them, that inspire them, that give them, you know, the like actual value valuable information that would make them want to come and follow you, right? Another thing I wanna mention here when it comes to making reels that are impactful is to make sure you create reels that actually move and flow and are engaging. And so this can include things like having a good hook at the very beginning in the first few seconds to grab their attention. Or this can include, not having text boxes pop up on the screen and stay on the screen for too long. A good rule of thumb is not to have more than maybe 2 full sentences. I try to keep it to 1 full sentence in a text box and not have that sentence on the screen for more than 3 to 4 seconds. If you're doing something where you're adding text over, like you doing something or something along those lines, but just think about what are, making sure there's not any long awkward pauses or gaps in your reel that someone could potentially just keep scrolling, right? We want to keep it as fast moving, as fast paced as possible and not leave room for people to get bored and to want to scroll away. I know I saw something somewhere recently where it's our attention span right now is 6 seconds for video. And so if you with short form video like reels, and so if you want to keep their attention, grab their attention and keep their attention, you have to make sure that it keeps moving, it keeps flowing, it's engaging. Otherwise, you're gonna lose their attention and they're just gonna keep scrolling. Another way to have reels make an impact on your brand is to use call to action. So you can do this in so many different ways, right? You've probably heard this concept before. You can use this in text on the actual reel with a call to action to read more in the caption or to follow you for more or things like that. You can also do, the call to action can be a great thing to put in the caption. With reels, you really don't have to write long captions if you don't want to. And so I love to use the caption as a way to really ask them a really simple question, ask them to follow me for more, ask them to like this video if it was helpful, ask them to save or share the video with a friend. All of those things can be really helpful and helping to just increase the engagement on your reels and have it reach more people and to impact more people, right? And then the last thing here, respond back to your comments and DMs. I probably mentioned this in so many of my videos. If you're not new around here, you probably already know this, but I think it's just a really important reminder that people want to connect with people. They don't want to feel like they're just talking to a brick wall. And if Instagram growth is truly important to you, you need to be engaging back with your community. And I'm not saying, especially once you hit that 10,000 follower mark, it can get really tough to respond back to every single thing, right? But especially within the first 24 hours after you post a reel or just your DMs in general, I make that a priority in my business that I'm doing that consistently, right? Doesn't mean I can't take a day off here and there, but I'm making sure that I'm responding back to my people because it's just, when you have an engaged audience, it's only gonna push your content, not only your reels, but your other content further even more. And so just really wanna encourage you to focus on creating that long-term connection with your audience too, and by responding back to their comments and their DMs. If you haven't yet, be sure to sign up for that free Reels class that I mentioned a few times in this video. The link will be right down below. I also want to share that if you haven't already, we also released a new Facebook group for those of you interested in growing with Instagram Reels. It's called Instagram Reels Growth. We'll also have a link to that in the description. If you want to join, it's a completely free group where you can connect with others who are trying to grow in Reels, ask your questions, all of those fun things. So we will have that linked down below as well if you want to join and connect with others and if you enjoy Facebook communities like that. And also be sure to subscribe to my channel. I upload a new video around here every Tuesday at noon Eastern Standard Time, all centered around creating relevant content creation to grow your brand. So if that sounds like something that would be super helpful for you, then I would love to have you stick around and hang out because we have a lot of fun and I would love to help you in growing your brand online. And also, if you are curious, that is my puppy Chai. Well, I shouldn't say puppy anymore. He's 9 months old. I'll real quick show you guys. He's just adorable, but he's been in the background this whole video. I feel like I just had to point that out because he's just been super, not cuddly, but super cozy over there. So let me just show you. Hey, buddy. That's Chai. He's a good boy. Can you say bye, Chai? Say bye-bye. Bye, everybody. All done. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Bye. See you next week.